Stick around as we talk about installing insulation and siding on our shipping container cabin on DH Prepping. This is Desert Homestead Prepping. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications.
Good morning. Another beautiful day out on the property. Told you guys last time that we would take you on to the next step of our building process for the cabin. That is the insulation and the siding. So we thought a lot about how we were going to insulate this shipping container. And really one of the main factors that went into our decision was the fact that they sat here for a while before we even did the siding. So we were able to understand how the sun, how it hits the side of the shipping container, just heats up that whole side really hot. And then it's also the same way in the winter with the cold. So I had seen many different people insulate the inside, and they would put up, framing and insulate it. And, basically by doing that, it seemed like most of your insulation would be wasted by the fact that the wall was so extremely hot or cold on the outside. So I decided that the best option would be to cover the outside. And the other situation that we have to deal with in a shipping container is the fact that there's not much space in there. And so when it comes to really thinking about how we construct everything, it's only 8 feet wide. And so being able to set up, insulation on the inside and framing the inside would mean that I'd have to put up 2x4s and create a space to put the insulation in there. And that would take inches off of the wall. And so you're looking at taking roughly 6 inches off of each side. And when it comes to having 8 feet, inches makes a big difference. So we decided the way that we wanted to do it was insulate the outside. So I went with the 1-inch foam board insulation, and I sandwiched the insulation against the corrugation of the shipping container and 1/2-inch plywood. And I went with plywood because it was fairly inexpensive. I looked at different types of wood that people put on like sheds, and that wood was like $30 for a sheet. And I was thinking, my goodness, if I got to buy 30 sheets, that's a lot of money. And when it came to the plywood, it was actually a more durable material than the manufactured siding for sheds, and it was much cheaper. And when it comes to the manufactured siding for sheds, those have to be painted and have to be taken care of regularly. And I figured I might as well just do the same thing with the plywood, where I would just paint it and just know that we'd have to regularly paint it. And so when I planned all this, that's why the windows were mounted in a certain way where they would stick out just a bit, so that I could fit that piece of insulation right next to the windows and the plywood, so that everything would run flush. And so to be able to attach this stuff, we had to use self-tapping metal screws. And, I got the larger size ones that were pretty heavy duty. But we're very happy with the way that it turned out. Once I had insulated this and covered it with all the siding, it changed the way the structure would retain the heat and would stay cooler in the summer. It made a huge difference. Now, we can compare it to the other shipping container that you can kind of see off in the side there, because it's not insulated at all. That's just basically the garage. So we'll kind of take you over and let you see what it looks like. So you can see that we set this up so it's nice and flush. You can see some of these self-tapping screws that are sticking out randomly. Not the most beautiful. And later on, we're probably going to come back and put some trim around the edges to make it look a lot nicer as we get more funds and time. And so we really worked it out so that the whole thing is pretty much flush all the way along. And so as you get over here, this one part is not covered because this is the wall that gets hot and from the wood burning stove. It's nice and warm. And you can see here, this is where the gap is, and the insulation is behind this wood strip here. And as you see, this side, we decided not to cover this back door quite yet. This does radiate a lot of heat off of the door. Right now in the winter, it's working out really well. It helps heat up the space inside there. We think the plan is we'll probably cover the majority of this with some wood and keep it so that the latches down here are still open, so I can get to them and unlatch the doors and open them. Next time, we'll start working our way inside the cabin, be able to see how we had planned to do the plumbing and the electrical and how we were going to string that. All right, that's all for now. You guys make sure to tune in next time, and we'll take you into the next process of how we completed our cabin. Make sure that you guys like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. You know, we're not only on YouTube, we're over on Rumble, and we're also on BitChute. Just trying to keep our options open, be on multiple different platforms so that we can get our content out to as many people as possible. All right, you guys take care. God bless.